Let's talk about how to get great at something, how to be excellent. This is something that fascinates me and has fascinated me for a long time. I assume if you're following along with me, you want to become great and get better as an entrepreneur, but also in every area of your life. Hopefully, I inspire you beyond just entrepreneurship. And so here's the thing, is I'm on a ski lift. This is it's actually a ski Thursday. Normally Friday is my ski day, but I had a little time, so I came up for a bonus day up on the mountain. And yesterday was my lesson day. So I have been skiing, 40 years, probably a little more than that. And I just fairly recently, last few years, I started taking lessons regularly. An amazing thing happened is I started to get a lot better at skiing. So after, let's call it close to 40 years of skiing, I had my first lesson. And I was already, I guess some people might call me expert. I consider myself just a really good intermediate. I mean, I can ski the entire mountain, including the black diamonds and the double blacks. And I can go in the trees and I can go in the steeps. But, when it gets to be really difficult, it's a challenge for me. And but in any case, I think most people would consider me a pretty solid skier. And just a few years ago, I started taking lessons. And yeah, amazingly enough, I almost immediately started to get a lot better. So every year now I come back and I take lessons all through January and February, once a week. And sometimes my friends are like, wow, you're taking lessons. It's like, what'd you learn? And I'm like, well, really, I go back to learning the basics, how, the turn shape, where I'm at on my skis in terms of backwards and forward, where I'm, what I'm doing with my edges, where I'm leaning, how I'm planting my poles. And I'm doing everything to not get in the back seat for those skiers out there. That's my number one pitfall when things start to get steep and crazy as I start to get back seat. Yeah, it's amazing when you learn from an expert, when you consciously try to improve and try to learn by studying with an expert. Crazily enough, you get better. It's just unbelievably black and white. And it's funny, in this lesson, I'm actually in with a small group. And there's 2 or 3 other guys in with us, and we're in this lesson. And everyone's a really good skier. They're all similar abilities. But one guy, every time we'll see our instructor go down and demonstrate something, make some good turns, he'll talk about, oh man, it's like almost acting like he's depressed because he's not as good as our instructor. And I'm thinking, put it bluntly, how arrogant can you be? I mean, if you want to be as good as the instructor, go back 30 years and spend a decade learning to race and get really good at racing, and then spend another 5 or 6 years getting certified to teach, and then spend another decade or 2 teaching, and then you'll be as good as that instructor. It's like, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're not amazing at whatever we're talking about, it could be business, it could be anything. If you're not amazing right now, and you're looking at other people that are amazing, you're lamenting the fact that you're not amazing, don't be so arrogant to think you're going to jump to being amazing in one quick step. It takes work. It takes conscious effort to get better. And so instead of comparing yourself to someone who's ahead of you and feeling bad about it, just glory in the fact that there are teachers out there that can help you move forward. So I'm going to have to bring this to the end because I'm at the end of my lift ride. So conscious learning from experts will make you better. So another lift ride and a couple more thoughts. First of all, if you are a beginner in whatever you're doing, if you're just starting your business and you might be discouraged about just starting out, that people are further ahead of you, that people are more experienced than you, the beauty of the present moment is it is so much easier to advance. It is so much easier to get great because there is so much amazing training available. There's so much amazing teaching and consulting that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago wasn't there. And I see that out here on the mountain, out skiing. People can advance so much faster because the teaching, the training, and the gear, the tools are so much better. So if you're starting an online business, It's so much easier in so many ways. The tools are easier to use, the tech's easier to use, the coaching and training is there. It's an amazing time to be learning what the internet has done for us, what the general level of skill and technique in all areas of life is just amazing. So this is a great day to be a beginner. And then the other thing is, lots of times my friends will ask me, like, why are you taking lessons when, you're a pretty solid skier already? And it's because I love learning. I love getting good at things. Just to me, there's just so much value and fun in figuring stuff out and getting better. But then also, I love the beginner's mind. I love going back into being a beginner. I just love that. I love that acceleration you feel as you get better at something. And I think if you're in this business that I'm in, of what I call the wisdom business of teaching, training, coaching, consulting, then I suggest you might want to take that on. Take on a love of the beginner's mind, of being a beginner. Because if you're teaching, if you're training, if you're consulting, if you're coaching, by definition, you're teaching people. And you want to be able to understand what it's like to be a student, to be taught. It's so easy to forget that. It's so easy to have that curse of knowledge and forget what it's like to be starting out. By stepping back into being a beginner, I think it gives you a huge leg up on being a great teacher and trainer. So I think to have success in this business, I just suggest that might be something you might want to take on. The beginner's mind, to revel in, to enjoy, to seek out that ability to become a beginner again. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, give me a follow, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, all the things, and let's go get them this week.